Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about loops. Loops are one of the most powerful, important ideas in programming because they let us repeat actions without writing the same code again and again. I'll show you for loops, while loops, and few special features like break and continue. To demonstrate, I'll be writing a basic loop example. Let's start with the for loop. A for loop goes through each item in a sequence, one by one. For example, here I have a list of fruits. The for loop picks up each fruit and prints a sequence. When I run it, you can see the program repeats the same action 3 times, one for each fruit. Ignoring these ones, we can see that it wrote I like apple, I like banana, and I like cherry in 2 lines. Another common use of for loops is with the range function, range 5. Creates the number of numbers 0 through 4. So the loop prints I equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a quick way to run something a specific number of times. Range can also take 3 arguments, start, stop, and step. For example, the range 2, 10 and 2 generates 2, 4, 6, and 8. This is perfect for making sequences like even numbers. Now I'll be writing another code to showcase while loops. So in this code, we can see the loop basics. A while loop keeps running as long as its condition is true. In this example, I set a counter to 0. While the counter is less than 5, I print it and then increase it by 1. As soon as the conditions become false, the loop stops. Yeah, as you can see, the moment it was equal to 5, it wasn't smaller than it, so it stopped. For example, if you make this 10, it should run until the count is 9. Yes. So I'll be writing another code to show break and continue. Break and there are two special keywords that make a loop more flexible. The first is break. Break immediately ends the loop, no matter what the condition is. In this example, I loop through numbers 1 to 9. But if the number is 5, I break. That means the loop stops completely at that point. The second is continue. Continue skips the rest of the current loop and jumps to the next round. In my example, if the number is even, I use continue, which means it skips printing that number. As a result, only the odd numbers get printed. Together, break and continue give us find control inside loops. Yeah, for example, it had to print 5, but then it stopped. If I just make this 9, for example, it should run until 7. And if I make it just out of range, it should run the whole thing. Yes. Now I'll be writing another example to show nested loops. Loops can also go inside other loops. These are called nested loops. Here I am building a simple multiplication table. The outer loop goes from the 1 to 3, and the inner loop also goes from 1 to 3. Each pair of number multiplies together and gets printed. After finishing one row, I print a small separator. Of course, there was a small mistake with the comma. And this not like, where did I forget the comma? Oh, of course. Yeah, so as you can see, it's with a small multiplication table. Nested loops are useful for working with grids, tables, and in a situation where you need to combine two sets of values. They may feel tricky at first, but they are very powerful. So to summarize, for loops are best when you already know how many times you want to repeat or you want to go through a collection. While loops are best when you want to keep going until something changes. Break can stop a loop early, continue can skip around, and nested loops let us combine loops for more complex patterns. That's the core idea of loops in Python. Practice them a lot because you'll use loops in almost every program you write. Thank you for listening.